This is how to design and create a killer landing page to blow up your business, because one great landing page has the potential to completely change the trajectory of your business forever. I can think of dozens of famous businesses that got their big break just because of one single landing page. Just like Crazy Egg, who saw a 363% increase in conversions only after they implemented this genius landing page. What do they know that you don't? Well, the good news is that it's not as complicated as you might think, and that the process that the top businesses use to consistently create killer landing pages just follows a few simple steps. So let me walk you through all of them. Step number one, this is table stakes for any landing page, and that's getting very clear on your audience and who exactly you're targeting. Really get deep into what your customers' pain points are. What are their motivations? What's their goal? What's their dream state or dream outcome? One of the easiest ways to do this is to use a tool like UserBrain to simply just interview your customers. Next, you also want to deeply understand what context people are visiting your landing page. Are they coming from Google ads? Are they coming from Facebook ads? What's their stage of awareness? This is going to shift entirely how you position your page. Somebody coming from Facebook ads is going to require a lot more trust building upfront and selling points upfront on the landing page, as opposed to somebody coming from organic SEO where they already know what they're looking for. The next thing you want to do is to start planning out the design of your landing page. So we use a prototyping tool called FIGMA, which basically lets you make modifications super quickly to your landing page. We already have a proven high converting landing page structure that we follow for any project inside of a Figma prototyping tool, both for B2B SaaS businesses and for e-commerce. So you can literally copy and paste this and apply it to your own business. I'll put the link in the description below. Step 3, getting to the actual landing page. Starting with the most important section, which is the above the fold. This is the topmost section of your landing page, and it is one of the only sections that statistically 60% of people will never scroll past and 100% of your audience will see. I want you to spend at least 80 to 90% of your effort just on this one section when starting out. Very first thing you need is an extremely benefit-driven and compelling headline that ties into what that end motivation is for your end user. It sounds super simple, but you would be surprised by how many websites and landing pages I come across where their headline literally has nothing to do with their company. It just uses a bunch of jargon, it repeats their company name, and just doesn't speak in layman terms. I can literally pull up hundreds of examples like this, and it's literally killing your conversions. What I really want you to focus on is, how does your product or service benefit me in my day-to-day life? The next thing is your sub-headline. Your sub-headline should basically be explaining who you are and what it is you do to achieve the outcome that you just mentioned in your headline. You also want to convey your USP and what makes your product or service unique. Your sub-headline gives you that opportunity to do so. You can use our free landing page prompt framework in the description below, which will basically let you get high converting copy in a matter of seconds. All you have to do is just feed ChatGPT info about your company, throw in our prompts, and you'll get copy that's substantially better than what you have now. The next big thing you need is social proof above the fold. 60% of people never scroll past the topmost section of any landing page, so you have to give them a reason to do so. One of the ways you do that is through social proof, which are things like reviews, testimonials, or featured publications. When you look at the world's top converting websites and landing pages, you'll always notice that they put social proof at the very top of their website. Ideally, you should always have two forms of social proof. It just builds a lot more trust and credibility up front, and we found that it results in a lot more people converting later down the line. The next thing you need is a clear benefit-driven headline that is actionable and really stands out on the page. Right underneath your call to action, you have to reduce friction and FUDs, which is what we call fear, uncertainty, doubts. All of the anxieties and fear that people have around buying a product or reaching out about your service, you have to address those upfront. This could be anything like return policy, money back guarantee, free trials. Then you need a video or image that helps to complement your messaging and subtly conveys who you are and what it is you do. Please avoid using stock images or stock videos that have no correlation whatsoever to your company. The last big thing you need, and not a lot of people talk about this enough, is tightening up your above the fold space such that you're able to display a lot of information up front without having users to scroll, but you're also doing it in a manner that's not overwhelming to users. There's no need for huge blocks of white space. This is one of the biggest sins that you're doing that is absolutely destroying your conversion rate. Look at this landing page. Look at how much space the header is taking up and this giant image above the fold that's basically pushing down all of this other information that I have to scroll down to. Or even take a look at this B2B example as well. Really focus on tightening up that above the fold space and showing as much info as possible without overwhelming users. We've easily seen 60 to 80% lifts in conversions just by testing this one thing alone for both our B2B and e-commerce clients. Once your above the fold is maximized, now you need to have two critical sections scattered and repeated multiple times throughout your landing page. And this is what I call your value prop sections and your social proof sections. These are basically sections that convey the end benefit for your user and answering that question of what's in it for me. When you look at the world's highest converting landing pages or websites, they always put multiple value prop sections sections throughout their entire page. I'm talking 4 to 5 sections. You really have to treat your landing page like it's a salesperson. One very important thing is that your headlines for these sections needs to convey the benefit in the headline itself. Statistically, people will only read 20% of the content on your website. The other 80%, they just scan. Imagine the framework that somebody only reads the headlines on your website alone. Is the benefit clear in the headline itself? Here's an example of an e-commerce landing page where literally every headline just repeats the brand name over and over again, which is redundant. Following that just has generic headlines like here's what we do, here's what we provide, etc. Here's a B2B example where just reading the headlines alone, no one has any idea of what that benefit is and why should I really care based off these generic poor headlines. Compare that to these where every headline focuses on that end benefit that I can derive as a user, and it's also answering that question of why should I actually care. Each of these sections should have CTA buttons so that somebody can convert at any stage of the journey. Really try to avoid using large blocks of text that no one is going to read. Use digestible copy and chunk your content in the form of bullet points using headings and subheadings and using icons as well. For your social proof sections, these should also be scattered throughout multiple points of your landing page. Don't bury your reviews at the bottom of your page, which majority of people are never going to read. Instead, put your social proof in critical juncture points and spread throughout multiple different value props on your page so you're building as much trust as possible and really getting people over the edge to actually buy your product or reach out about your service. Your above the fold gets people in the door, your social proof and value prop sections keeps them and retains them, and now it all comes down to that final conversion action, which is filling out a form or requesting a quote or booking a demo if you're B2B SaaS, or buying a product if you're e-commerce. For B2B, this is what you don't want to do. I already know I'm at the contact phase. There's no need for a generic headline like contact us, get a quote. What I want to see instead is a benefit-driven headline that actually gives me an incentive or gives me a reason as to why I should fill out that form in the first place. Then you want to set clear expectations about what can I expect once I fill out the form, as well as 3 to 4 additional benefit points. Lastly, your form should reduce redundancy as much as possible. Unless there's a specific reason you have first name and last name, chances are you can just combine that into full name and get rid of an extra field. You should also be separating your placeholders and your labels. A lot of people jumble up the two, especially on mobile. They might actually forget what they were typing in the first place when you use your placeholder as a label. For e-com, you need to make the product selection process as seamless as possible. If you have multiple color options or SKUs and users can select that, create a seamless flow from top to bottom, really guiding the users on where they need to go next. If you have multiple product bundles, show users exactly what they're going to save. Don't make users do math. For your add to cart button, you want to add social proof near the button, and you also want to reduce fear and uncertainty to really get people over the edge to buy. You want to make the conversion action as seamless as possible. If you take a look at this site here, when you add something to cart, it refreshes the entire page just to notify you that something's been added to your cart. This is an extremely disruptive experience, and I can guarantee you that this is hurting this website's conversion rate. Instead, what I recommend is leveraging a sliding cart menu in which when you add to cart, a cart slides through and you can upsell and cross-sell people directly in the cart, but also set up shipping thresholds. And the big thing here is you're giving people immediate feedback that something's been added. Here's how I would redesign this furniture store's landing page, where they have an extremely laborious process of adding a product to your cart compared to our example, which is a lot more seamless from top to bottom and a lot more streamlined as well. I've built a lot of landing pages and websites over the past couple of years for both B2B businesses and e-commerce firms. And through that, I've learned a ton about what makes a great landing page. So click here to check out the next video where I condense all of my learnings after building over 400 landing pages into things that you can actually implement, test, and use for your own landing page to get the most out of your conversions possible and squeeze the absolute most out of your traffic that you're already getting to your landing page or website. If you're serious about optimizing to create the best landing page possible, I'll see you in the next video.